It seems like history books only scratch on the surface. They don't really get into the really nitty-gritty of how bad it was for them back then.
It needs to be known what happened, because I know a lot of these younger students don't know. They don't know this. They don't know the endurance that their grandfathers and grandmothers had to endure.
Like, you only hear about Native Americans is when the settlers came in and met them. And they're like, oh, there's Native Americans that live here. And then this is, who they are. This is what we found out. And it's like, no, we've been here before that. This is the way things were, and this is the way we lived. I guess that doesn't get much attention.
They don't really talk about the mistreatment of Indians. They talk about just like wars with like the colonists and the natives that they were invading. They didn't really go into much detail, so you can't take too much from that. But once you learn about it when you're an adult, it's a lot different.
I actually like this one a lot because it's constantly the one I go back to because of, I feel like it's my roots, and I'm always apologizing and I'm always second guessing myself because I don't have that formal education in the history of how everything happened and the different time periods. And at the same time, this one kind of makes me realize that that's not my fault, that's not my fault that I haven't been taught that the way I should have been taught that everybody's not taught the way things were. And so just because I wasn't taught that throughout high school, and just because that wasn't in my history books, and just because I didn't have tests on that, doesn't mean that it didn't happen, and it doesn't mean that it was any less significant.
A lot of the history that I know now that happened with Native Americans wasn't taught in high school, and I grew up on a reservation school.
Yeah, just for the history of natives would be cool to be taught, because we learn a lot about what else goes on in the world, but not about what native knowledge was. Yeah, like in class the other day, they're talking about the Trail of Tears, and like I remember when I was going to school, we touched on it for like a day, maybe two, but when it came to the Pearl Harbor and all their battles and stuff, we would go for a week covering just that one subject. And it's important, it's history.
And so I thought that was interesting that people are like, oh yeah, Christopher Columbus is amazing and blah blah blah. And I'm like, no, he like raped people and like enslaved other humans. Like, it's not okay. He's not an okay human.
I feel like we should have mandatory Native American history throughout the country, because there's kids who have no idea they have no idea what happened to Native Americans at all.
The more like natives come out and publish the histories and get it out there, like it'll be the faster that more people will understand where we're coming from and understand what happened in the past and why we still feel the way that we do.
One day, everyone will know Native side of the story, our side of the story, just as much as they know about everybody else, just as much as they know about George Washington.